Hi, Kobra. First of all, I want to congratulate you on the fantastic new album. One of the perks of being an interviewer is that I got to listen to the whole, from the front to the back.
Oh
And
yeah. Okay.
it's a very diverse record, I think. You have like all kinds of speeds and moods and messages in there. Personally, I even liked it more than the first one.
I've actually heard this from a few people, which is pretty interesting. And it's also relieving for us because with the double album, we were thinking, oh God, like what if this one is because that one was pretty well received for us, and we were thinking, what if the second one's weaker, And we had, it's just scary, but that's really cool. Thank you.
Can you describe the feeling sort of right before you actually put it out?
Well, right now it's mostly excitement. We're all feeling very excited to get this new stuff again out there. New stuff. I say that as we recorded it actually almost 2 years ago now, all together. But it's going to be new for everybody else, and it's just been so exciting to learn new songs and have new stuff so soon as well after we've just released Prevail 1. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see how this whole thing unfolds. So far, it's been really interesting to see, and also full of surprises too. We didn't know how "Let Me Love You" would go over, and it was really interesting because it did fairly well, and it seems like also men are really enjoying that song.
Wanted to look a little bit at the story of Prevail in general. So you were touring for High Priestess, like you guys were working really hard, and then you got sick.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting how things happen in your life sometimes because it's mysterious. It works out in weird ways. When we finished that tour with Kiss and Def Leppard, I was not doing well by the end of it, and I didn't know what the problem was, and no one could diagnose it because it's a really weird thing. Like Lyme is a strange bacteria. People don't understand it completely. I don't understand it even completely. When we pulled ourselves off the road, it was really terrifying to lose the momentum we had because we're a growing band. It's so delicate, this industry. The doctor that we had available to us in Calgary told us that I needed 8 months minimum off the road. So, we went and we did the classic Rocky Pee because it was kind of the only thing I could do at that time. So I got right back out there after that 8 months was done, and we started touring again. And then we knew it was time for another album, and it had gotten way worse by then because I had adapted to the oral antibiotics I was on. So my bacteria were resisting it. And the problems that I had with this were short-term memory loss and really bad brain fog and just chronic exhaustion and muscle weakness. So if I held a Swiss ball in my legs, my groin would tear and I would have this injury for several weeks. I was so tired, so I kept having to nap, when I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. In the middle of the day on the studio, I would just lay down on the floor and just like, she's dead. And then I would come back up and do what I could.
Yeah.
After that, I went and I got aggressive treatment, and I am great now. I have the scar to show that I'm on the other side because my port is gone. I don't need IVs anymore. So that's a big thing. I'm healthy.
Congratulations, that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks very much. But when we were in the studio, we were writing this album, and it was such an emotional album, and I really wanted, especially myself, I wanted to be much more vulnerable and honest and truthful and very clear in what I was saying and not story tell, more so just really be direct with my words. I can listen to the albums and I can feel my pain sometimes. And I think it's perfect for Prevail because Prevail is about people going through their life and their journey and their personal and individual struggles, and also how that might relate to like more people feeling the same thing but going through their own life. And it happened all like it was supposed to. It's the weirdest thing, but it really did. It made everything just a little bit more authentic to what I was expressing.
I have to say, I really like a lot of the lyrics as well. Like, what's the one that I really like from Losing My Humanity? The taste your words before you spit them out.
Taste your words before you spit them out. Abusing others is only hurting yourself. I see you. You're losing all of your humanity.
So losing my humanity, when I think of like taste your words before you spit them out, for example, it's like, wow, like how are we treating each other? It's really out of control, and we don't even realize when this like humanity slips away in moments. Like I look at trolls, for instance, that are just trolling a video, and then someone will come on and they'll be defending the band, but they'll be like totally trolling the troll, and it's so interwoven, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
funny. And yeah, there's a lot of places where I can see that it's slipping away from our hands in big ways. Obviously, there's tragedies that are very serious, like terrorism, and we have a lot of different things in there. We have environmental things as well, and it's very like endless spectrum, and then it like comes right back to like an individual.
It's a really good song as well. I really like it.
We really, really chose two albums that we could stand beside. And yeah, it's interesting that Prevail II is coming out after, because I think that there are some developments. Even Losing My Humanity, I think, is an even further evolved part of our sound that comes next. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure the songwriting process must have been very, it's going to be a big step forward in your development as a songwriter. And
Absolutely. This is like a super highly collaborative double album. There's me and Yasho, who wrote a lot of stuff together, and Jacob Hansen, our producer, played a really key part in helping us nail down aspects that moved us towards what we were looking for, such as dropping the tuning. This is something that became an integral thing for us that actually allowed us to have more space to play around in, even vocally. I was terrified, and he was like, nope, you have this range. He's like, just trust it and go and play around with it. It was pretty wild. And we have Martin Pagard Wolf, who's a Danish songwriter, and he really, really opened up our minds past like the patterns that we had like in our music, because you develop patterns just like you develop patterns in your life and your behavior. It's just like the same in anything. So songwriting, like, he really broke that up. He was like, well, this is going to open it up to either go minor or major, and we're like, whoa. Yeah, we have choices. Okay.
it's not like you went into the double album because you were like, we have all this material and like it's going to be too much. No, you actually said we're going to do a double album, and then you went off and wrote it.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did. And
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like you though, to be that adventurous? Like, because you have this label behind you, and they have expectations, and then like, is that like you? Is that your personality, or do you like to be well prepared usually?
I would say both. I like to prepare for things that I know are coming up and planning like tours and stuff. But I'm super spontaneous and adventurous. And even with this new video that we just released, yeah, it was like, Napalm was like, I don't know about this video not being in English. And I was like, then we won't, like, we either release it in Japanese or this video is not happening, because this is what it is. It's a Japanese video. was interesting to do it because you can't directly translate it. So the song is actually kind of different when you speak in Japanese. Like the first line, "Oh darling, don't be so scared of what I'll find within." A line in Japanese in the song that will say, "Oh darling, you don't know how beautiful in nature you are." So it changes slightly, but it has to change to make sense to them. And I'm curious if people are going to learn the Japanese, even if they don't know
what they're saying.
Yeah, because it actually really, it was very fun. It was really fun to, I found it beautiful.
Also the chain, Fleetwood Mac. How come you chose that one?
I love Fleetwood Mac. I'm just crazy about Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks era with Fleetwood Mac, and Rumors is one of my all-time favorite albums. And I really wanted to find some kind of perfect way to close Prevail 1 and 2. Like, we're closing a double album here, so I thought, let's find something that's really unifying and leaves it on that note, like we're really connected more than we even know. And also, people weren't expecting that from us, and that really excites me. There comes that, like, that behavior again, that spontaneous behavior. It couldn't be something like Dio, for instance, where people are always asking us to do something in our metal vein, you know?
Yeah, but you know what I also like in general with some of the things that you've said in the past, it's, you know, metal can be very like, we're depressed and we're like, I mean, it's not really like that when you get into the scene and you meet the people, but it can have that vibe.
Yeah.
But I love how you put that whole sort of positive slant on it, and like it's okay to be positive and to have that message.
We all suffer and we struggle, but to be stuck there is just not ever an answer for me, and I don't want it to be an answer for anybody. There's a lot we can do to open it up for ourselves. I don't know, you have to go through the pain, as you know, of anything to get to the other side of something. You have to go through it. You can't go around it. But I think musicians that have a following, they really have a responsibility with what they are projecting to people. So I really take that really heavily, you know, what I'm projecting to people. And the idea is not to be like, there's no solution, to be like stuck here forever.
From Paul Torch, do you know Paul Torch? Because he said something.
Oh, yeah.
And he said about the short European tour, will it be a complete Prevail 1 and 2 set list?
Yeah, it will be. This is only Prevail 1 and 2, and we are playing most of all the material that's on both albums, actually. There's a couple songs missing. But yeah, it's going to be a special set. We're going to do some different stuff too. Play a few things acoustically. We've never done that before.
Felicia Tripodi said,
Oh, yeah.
what songs from Prevail 2 do you think people will relate to or relate to the most?
Oh. The first one that comes to mind is Let Me Love You. Just because I think vulnerability is like a massively hard thing to have as a human being with anything. And with love, it's like very scary. And I think that is going to relate to a lot of people. I mean, losing my humanity as well. And then a third one I would pick is Whitewater, actually. It's got hope in the end, but it's just like really real devastation happening in the beginning. If I could turn back time, I'd tell you you are good enough, incredible. And that really is just like a severing of ties or losing time with somebody and wishing that you had actually spent your time differently and that you had appreciated the things that were there to appreciate more and not spent so much time in this dark place. And we all want to be seen like that. Seen, you know, it's such a different thing. Seeing people, to be seen, it doesn't happen very often where you feel seen by somebody. So I think that song, Whitewater.
It was really, really lovely talking to you, Kobra. I wish you all the very, very best. I hope the album's going to fulfill all your expectations or exceed them, but more than all of that, you know, just keep doing what you're doing. I think you're awesome, and I think you have a long journey, and you're going to do it really well. So it was lovely talking to you.
Thank you for doing this with me. It was, yeah, I really enjoyed it as well.